This didactic unit has been elaborated for the 5th year of primary state. The school placed on the center of Murcia. In the center, we can find every levels of education, from kindergarten to secondary education, and is a multicultural center. According to Piaget's theory of cognitive development, pupils at this age are in the concrete operational state. This stage occurs between the age of 7 and 11 years and is characterized by the appropriate use of the logic. The specific class in which this didactic unit is going to be implemented is formed by 25 students whose interest in learning English varies according to their likes and motivation. Also, there is a student with special education needs called Nabil Said. This unit is the 5th. In this unit, we are going to work to future to express plans and suggestions and vocabulary about celebrations, because before then we work the present perfect to spread past experience. On the other hand, the activities that we want to work serve to reinforce the vocabulary and grammar topic. Activities. We are going to work about celebrations. We will work different activities to finally make an oral presentation of a logbook of a celebration. Here, the organization is specified. The first activity is warm-up activity. In this activity, we are going to explain that in this lesson they are going to speak about celebration. After then, we will write the date for local festivity on the blackboard, St. Patrick's Day, and we'll ask, what happened on this day? We will encourage the students to remember that day. Then we will ask, do you go to school on this day? We ask them say everything they can see and do that day. We will encourage them to use all possible vocabulary of celebrations. In addition, we will write on the blackboard all ideas and words they said.
The next activity is a vocabulary presentation activity. Here, the objectives and content of the activity are specified. For example, the first objective is to recognize and say words related to St. Patrick's Day and celebration. And the first content is vocabulary about celebration, rainbow, shamrock. On the other hand, we will adapt the activity to Nabil's side. To do this, we have created a picture cards. These drawings are related to the words that Nabil's side should learn, so he could learn from easiest way the vocabulary needed for the activity. Here, the organization of the activity is specified. The activity called Bingo. A student must write 6 words on St. Patrick's Day in their notebook. Then we will read the definition of certain words. If a student has the word, he must cross it. When a student has crossed the 6 words, he shouts bingo. The first to do it is the winner. After then, the students should talk to each other using that vocabulary. For it, they will use different grammatical structures. They will review the past simple and present perfect. These are some examples of picture cards. This table shows the relationship between activity and content, evaluation criteria, learning standards, competence, and objectives of the curriculum. The activity is related to the content, understanding speeches related to the description of people, activities, place, object, habits. The activity is related to the evaluation criteria, identify sociocultural and basic, concrete, and sociolinguistic significance about everyday life, habits, activities, celebration. The activity is related to learning standard, infers the meaning of expressions and words of simple oral tests. The activity is related to the competence, linguistic competence, and cultural and artistic competence. And the activity is related to the objective, acquire in at least of foreign languages communicative competence that allows them to express and understand simple messages and function in situations daily. This table is another example of the relations between activity and curriculum content.
Hello, for this learning activity, here we have the objectives. Firstly, to understand a song and the vocabulary that it contains. Secondly, to develop oral comprehension and aspect of pronunciation. And finally, to identify some features of the Irish culture. As long as the pupil Nabil said is concerned, we will be offering reinforcement activity in order to make him confident and motivating towards the task. This learning activity will take one lesson in the classroom, and we will be using the digital board in order to provide the kids with the video. We will be working individually, in per group, and as a whole class group. This is the song I've chosen. I've taken from the internet after doing some research. This is authentic material, and in this listening activity there will be three phases. First of all, we will do a pre-listening activity in which a student will make predictions about the song and its content. I will provide visuals so they can activate the previous knowledge they already know. As a warm-up activity, here we have the question I will be asking them. In the while listening activity, they will listen to the song once. Then they will do a skimming activity in which they will have to ask and answer the previous questions presented in pairs. After the second listening, they will do some scanning activities. They will have to order the main vocabulary items from the video and making phrases later with them. As long as the pupil Nabil said is concerned, I will include visual clues in order to help him complete the activity, as you can see. In the post-listening activity, I will play the song a few more times, and I will encourage the shyer students to participate and miming the song. The most outgoing pupils will sing the song and will help the shyer ones to be involved in this participation. I will relate some gestures and body movement for the different adjectives in order to relate meaning with sound. For example, for the adjective tiny, I will be doing an action like this. For my pot of gold, I will be doing something like this. My big green hat, and if you ever catch me, the action of running. This is the evaluation for me and for the students. And here, as you can see, there are the contents, evaluation criteria, learning outcomes, competencies, and stage objectives that I've included for this activity. As you can see, they are set out by the main curriculum framework we have. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to explain what would be the second grammar activity, which reference a video which talk about Saint Patrick's life. The vocabulary is very simple, and the music and images help the student to understand perfectly the story in Saint Patrick. For Nabil, our special pupil, I'm planning reinforcement activities for him to be confident and be motivated, which leads him to be successful. The time is just one session, the location is the ordinary class, and the resources is the digital board. Related to the organization, we will divide our group in pairs, in a small group, and in whole class. Well, the material is authentic material, and the audiovisual activity is divided in three phases. Pre-visualize, where students have to predict the main facts which happen in the video: animal encounter, religion, the kidnapping. While visualization, which do in pairs, it's a screaming activity. And they have to answer the previous question in pairs. After the second visualize, we will do a scanning, where the student have to establish a relation between the main characters and the facts which happen in the story. Yes, for Nabil, we will include some visual helps to complete successfully this activity. And in the post listening, I'm thinking I have thinking that role play would be a perfect activity. Well, we'll divide in whole class in groups of 4 people. Student, we will play the 4 previous situations same phrase in present simple. So this activity is focused on grammar as the previous one. For maybe it doesn't present any difficulty. And the 2 last diapositive is to contextualize our content, evaluating criteria, and learning output contents and object with a curriculum. That's all. Thank you very much.
This is the presentation activity. We can see the specific objectives: to identify the main symbols in Ireland, to develop oral comprehension and pronunciation, and to explain the contents about St. Patrick. The contents will be St. Patrick festivity and Irish culture. The teacher has to make some special activities for Nabil Said. He needs to develop his social skills and communication in class. Time. We need 5 sessions in this activity. The location will be in our classroom, and the organization has to be in small groups and whole class group. Finally, this activity will be very creative, and then we need to use some research such as cardboard, rubber, stickers, or glue. The logbook. We are going to make a logbook about St. Patrick's Day. We will work in small groups. Children have to gather the information about this, and we need to reflect all the knowledge. Finally, every group will explain the elements of their logbook in front of the class, giving a speech and trying to use verbal and non-verbal communication. Nabil Said. He will be integrated in this activity all the time. Nabil will read all the titles of the logbooks. He and another classmate will make a short introduction in every presentation. So he will have an essential role in the task because the child can practice their communication skill with easy phrases. Finally, we can see some examples about logbooks, and we expect our pupils to create creative and colorful logbooks. And for us, it can be an essential way to develop all the skills, and children can feel motivated all the time.
In the next 2 slides, we can see the relation between our activity and the decree. We have detailed all the sequences: contents, evaluation criteria, learning standards, competencies, and objectives that we find appropriate for this task. In this chart, students will make their own evaluation. With this simple question, they will be able to see their own academic achievements, and they will acquire some kind of self-critical sense. In this slide, we have our personal teacher notebook, where we will evaluate our students' contents, acquisition, and the acquired achievement level. After the student evaluation, we must evaluate our work. And here we have the chart where we can make this. This part of the assessment will help us to have a measure of the success of our project and the points we can increase. Finally, parents should take part of their children's education, and in order to this, we will inform them about the development of their children. For that aim, we will use a blog where parents will find relevant and appropriate information about activities, achievements, efficiencies, of improvements of their children, so that they will be permanently informed and involved in their children's education. And that is all. Thanks.